Good morning everyone. Let's start today's analysis. We are on EU. We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. We're on the daily chart. So what's the daily chart showing us? Well, all week that bearish momentum has continued, obviously. We've now met the daily order block, which I would see as the main target for this bearish movement, right? This would be the main area of support that I would see at the moment. Of course, price can head lower, but if we're going to bet on any support, this is where I'm betting it's going to show, at least in the short term, because we left behind a lot of imbalance. We are very much within a discount of this daily bearish leg, right? We've got loads of order blocks and imbalances up towards a premium now. We've taken loads of sell side liquidity without any significant pullback, right? So we have this low here, which is just above this order block, which was nice sell side liquidity. And also DXY is now aligned with us. It's no longer lagging behind. It's also entered the same daily order block area above these previous highs for buy side liquidity as well. So definite possible support and resistance here on DXY with that alignment. Both pairs have taken the previous daily low and previous daily high for sell side and buy side liquidity as well. So we may see some pullbacks from here that may be happening already. Okay, so I think let's move on. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that shows us. So before we get into it here on the 4 hour, as you can see, there's plenty of news announcements in the MY session and even late this evening. I think we have the presidents from every group, the Fed, Bank of England, etc. talking later this evening, but we also have, I think, CPI or something in the NY session. So loads of news on the horizon. Now for the London session now, looking at the 4 hour, clearly very bearish, right? Structure still bearish, making lower highs, lower lows. Now I would count this more as an internal structure. This would probably look better on the 1 hour. That's not so important. I still see this order block here as possible resistance in the future. This is the entire order block, but I'm just going to put it to this last candle for now because we may want to fill the entire imbalance. So as I said, this would be a good area of support. So my bias is already leaning towards that pullback. We've taken the previous daily low, though it was quite a few hours ago now, but there would be lower time frame and obviously this higher time frame order block here. And we're in that discount, as I said, of even this little internal smaller leg here. Okay, so the premium would be up towards this side here. So even if the pullback is just towards there, we can take advantage of that possible bullish pullback that may come into the market this morning. Right, we've got the buy side liquidity on side from DXY as well, with this previous high just here and that daily order block. So I do see that as very possible. We've got the same 4 hour order block that may draw price in here with small imbalance, but we've definitely got clear order blocks here for us to be drawn towards. So the 4 hour again is bearish, structure's bearish, momentum was bearish, but we'll see if we get any type of switch over now to get a bullish pullback towards this area to maybe continue bearish from. So that's what I see, that's how I'm reading this. So let's go down to the 1 hour, see if it's any clearer from there. So looking at yesterday's price action quickly, right, you can see we took that previous daily low, sell side liquidity here, and came up, mitigated that buy side liquidity order block, POI. Went bearish from there, especially on that news announcement, right? A lot of bearish momentum, created that lower low. So buy side liquidity swept from above these highs, mitigated this order block, created a new leg here, right? From this high to this low now today. Now this past hour has been bullish. You can see we've got a pretty decent bullish engulfing candle after we seem to have found some sort of support here. We swept some sell side liquidity, and now we're bullish, right, on the London Open. So we'll probably have to see on the M15 how good that looks for that bias of a pullback. As I said, we're in a discount, high time frame POI, plenty of sell side liquidity has been taken, so we may head towards some buy side liquidity or a POI here. So we have this 1 hour POI within that 4 hour POI, so we may go deeper into that 4 hour order block to mitigate this 1 hour order block here, which swept that liquidity before breaking down. So I do see that as a definite possibility. We have the same POI here on DXY to draw price in with a nice clear imbalance in a discount, and there's that premium. So price tends to obviously move from discount to premium. We'll see how far it goes. We have an imbalance here, which we may see some short-term resistance, or it may respect it, We don't know just yet, but possible short-term resistance around here to be wary of. But otherwise, I am favoring that bias of a counter trend pullback towards this area here, because I wouldn't want to sell short just yet against all of this liquidity and POIs from a discount so close to price. So that's my bias for this morning for London. So let's move on to the M15. Let's see what a trade for this morning would look like. So in terms of my bias for that bullish pullback, I actually like what I'm seeing already this morning. Price looks to be like it's creating this structure here with this lower high but then higher low, and we look like we're going on to create a break of structure above this internal lower time frame high, which is exactly what I would want. Don't see a clear imbalance here, any momentum yet, so that would be the only thing I may wait for. Right, we made this high, came down, mitigated this imbalance and order block here on the M15, and have rejected that area, making that high low. And then the same goes for DXY, where we made the same lower high and we have broken below to make that lower low. So we have a bit of divergence here, but we'll see what happens over the next 10 minutes or so to see if we do close above. What I would prefer to see actually, which may happen with this divergence, let's say if EU were to pull down, sweep that sell side liquidity here below that London open, mitigate this last order block here, and then we get that good momentum with that imbalance leaving that order block, creating a break of structure above these highs here very clearly, and then we get that pullback to that order block here to go long towards a premium. So that's what I would prefer, because I would like to see some sell side liquidity taken fresh, which would be internal sell side liquidity, which gives that momentum and that bias to break structure above these highs, right? Leaving behind that order block with imbalance from that momentum to then go long from. And I think that would look best. So you could have that stop loss just below the low here, or below that Frankfurt Asia low, I guess, down here, which wouldn't be too bad either, and you just head towards that premium. So I think that's a definite possibility. We may get inducement as well from a corrective pullback. So this is something I would like to see. That fresh sell side liquidity sponsoring that up move would be really nice, right? Because they are diverged at the moment, so we may see more of a pullback here on DXY now that it's taken that internal sell side liquidity. It may take that high out again before breaking down. So we'll see if that works out. That resistance point may be around here. It'd be good to be in the trade before then maybe, but I like the confluences on side to go long, especially once that M15 order flow switches by breaking structure, preferably because we have been very bearish. So I prefer the M15 to switch when we're waiting for something counter trend. So that's what I see this morning. And then we can look for shorts once we're up into this area up here again. So let's move on. So here we are on GJ, right, on the daily chart. And before we get into the analysis, just want to note that GJ does move when the US dollar moves, like when there is a red news announcement, such as CPI, GJ will move. Okay, so you have to kind of be aware of that as well for when you're trading. So I think because the yen is a safe haven, let's say if the US dollar has negative news, obviously the yen then powers up if people move into the yen, so GJ will go down. So you just have to be careful of those news not executing around that time. Now into the analysis. All week now, because we're on the Thursday here, if you look at all of these candles here, it looks like we're possibly finding support. We'll have to see more on the lower time frame here, because we're staying within this area here quite clearly over the last previous 3 days, Monday to Wednesday. So we'll see what the lower time frame is saying in terms of structure. To repeat myself, as I said before, we had made this high here, we had this bearish move, pulled back, made a lower high. We're yet to go on to make a lower low, so this may be a higher low, and we go on to make a higher high coming for these imbalances. So there is the possibility of further bullish price action, but there was also, you know, the possibility of a weak low here. So we'll see that on the lower time frames. We'll see what it's looking like now. As we can see, the previous daily high has been swept for buy side liquidity this morning because we was initially bullish, but we've pulled back from there. So we'll see more on the lower time frame. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Right, so here on the 4 hour, that recent price action on Monday where we rejected this 4 hour order block and looked to continue bearish, we did go on to make that internal lower low below this low here because we wicked below it. However, because we closed out as a wick, like a low test, a sweep, we swept all of these candle lows and this previous low, and we've been bullish since, right, overnight into today. It does look like we swept sell side liquidity and we're going to head for buy side liquidity. So we may just internally start taking out highs for buy side liquidity to continue that bullish trend. I think there's early signs of that now. This sweep here looks to have definitely created some kind of movement. So internally now we're above these highs here. The 1 hour may look bullish. We'll see. I can't determine anything, I would say, from the 4 hour right now, but price was slowing. It was being corrective here. As you can see, we made this low, lower high, and then we was making these corrective higher lows, swept that sell side liquidity, and now we're breaking those internal higher highs. So we may see that more clearly on the 1 hour, but you can see it here on the 4 hour as well. This sweep seems to have been very important so far. We've taken that buy side liquidity from the previous daily high. We're having a bearish sort of couple hours here looking at this 4 hour candle, but I can't determine a bias just yet, but I'm seeing early signs of a bullish switch. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, so the 1 hour here kind of confirms that for me. As you can see, plotted out by these order blocks and POIs, we was rejecting highs, right, making those internal lower highs, lower lows, low highs, lower lows, right, because we swept below this low, lower high, lower low, right, we broke below all these lows, but that closed out as a sweep. We took all that sell side liquidity and then went on to make a higher high above this high, right. I'm just going to count this as the leg, right, so from this low to this high, because this is that overnight evening price action, and then we powered up again during Asia. So from this low to this high, this is the premium, this is the discount. So we've gone above both of these highs here. So I do see that as a switch, an early sign of a switch in the 1 hour structure. So now we are still in the premium and we have discount POIs here. We have a clear 1 hour order block with imbalance. So price may, from this buy side liquidity now, after taking out these highs, want to pull back to this area here. Now just below price, I have drawn out this 1 hour order block because there was an imbalance there, and it may be respected as a POI, or it may just be something we don't want to trade against once we're into it. Price sometimes respects those premium POIs, so even though I'm counting this as the entire leg, this is also a leg here internally, so it may just respect this zone and continue going higher and leave this alone for the time being. But it would be great if we was to pull back down to here and use this as support. So that would be the only negative if we use this to go long from, which I wouldn't prefer. I think the shorts from this premium here and buy side liquidity would look better, but we may want to take profit or cover our losses into this zone here. To summarize, I think we've created a bullish 1 hour leg. So possible future trades may be longs from this area here instead of all of these shorts. And today's London bias, I might be looking for some shorts to go down into this zone here and possibly to this discount. So let's go down to the M15, see what a trade may look like. So the M15 here does look like it has broken down this morning, right? So we've created a lower low below these Asia lows internally. We have that possible support here even on the M15, but I don't see exactly what I would like to see in terms of a momentum breakdown. There's no imbalances here. There's like order blocks left behind without imbalances that we may respect, but it's not the best price action for me to look for a trade to go short already this morning. Now we've left a load of stacked highs here. I think these are equal highs here in Asia. So what may look better is for price to pull up back to these Asia highs, hopefully leaving a structure along the way so we can get in at the top, take out these highs for more buy side liquidity, and then break down. So we've got a breaker structure below here, and then pull back to an M15 order block with imbalance here to then trade down toward this 1 hour zone and towards this discount here. So I hope that's clear. So we would have buy side liquidity from above these highs, breaker structure caused by that buy side liquidity sponsorship around here, leaving behind an order block with imbalance around this zone here, possible corrective pullback leaving inducement here, and our order would be set to go short from around this zone here, stop loss just above the highs obviously, to go down in towards this area here. So that's how I would see it. Price may just respect this zone here and break down, but I think this sweep of buy side liquidity before breakdown would look really good. we've already broken down internally. So like I said, we may just continue that way. So maybe I'll wait for some continuations if that was to happen, breaking below these lows here to show that we're not going to respect this area, and then we may pull back to some order blocks, say like these white candles here, to then continue down to a discount. Maybe that will happen. So I hope that was clear. I hope you got value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.